Okay, predicting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers record. So looking at the roster, obviously the big sore thumb is Baker Mayfield is starting. I'm not sure. I don't think bold prediction. I don't think the Buccaneers quarterback will have a huge drop off since Brady didn't even do that good last year. Ricardo White is all right. They have a good trio wide receiver in Mike Evans, Godwin, Gage. Their offensive line is a little bit concerning, but they still have worse. It's their defense. I'm surprised they kept a lot of their pieces like Vita Vea, Levante David, the other linebacker, Carlton Davis, Antonio Winfield. I'm surprised they kept a lot of their defensive pieces. So I don't expect too much of a fall off from Brady retiring. So your first game versus the Vikings though, Vikings, I think the offense is a very talented offense, even with Dalvin Cook getting released. Justin Jefferson might go crazy. Kirk Cousins not bad. Their defense though is not that good, but since Baker Mayfield started, I don't think that they're going to take too big of advantage over that. So I'm taking the Eagles or the Vikings. Then you have a game versus the Bears. I think the Buccaneers experience at defense and Todd Bowles, who is a horrible head coach, but can coach a defense. I think he can shut down Justin Fields. And that Bears defense is brought in a bunch of new pieces. I don't think they're good enough. So I'm taking the Buccaneers here, especially with the home field advantage. Then you have them versus the Eagles. Eagles are the NFC Championship game. Buccaneers without an offense just cannot compete with the Eagles. So I'm taking the Eagles here. And then you have them versus the Saints. Saints play the Buccaneers tough always, but I don't think the Saints defense is all that good. And the Saints offense, I think, will get contained by the Bucks defense. So I'm taking the Bucks here. Then you have Denver versus the Lions. Lions have to travel down to Tampa, and the Tampa is coming off a bye. But the Lions are an upstart team. Their offense is great. I think the Bucks defense can contain the Lions offense though, and the Lions defense, I think, is it's not great. It is average, but I'm still taking the Bucks here. And then similarly, you have the Falcons. I think the Bucks can shut down the Falcons' run game, and without the run game, I don't think the Falcons' offense can function. Um, but I think the Falcons' defense is not anything special, so I'm taking the Bucks. And you have Bills. Bills have home field advantage on a short week. That's a double whammy. And the Bills are a Super Bowl contender. I'm definitely taking the Bills here. And you have the Texans. Texans are too inexperienced, especially with a rookie head coach. I don't think they can get past the Bucks defense and the Houston defense. I don't think is that good. Buccaneers offense shouldn't have that much trouble, so I'm taking the Bucks. And you have a game against the Titans. Derrick Henry, I think, will get shut down, and the Titans are much beyond that. Even though their defense might cause problems, so I'm still taking the Bucks here. You have a team, the Niners. Niners, we all know they're Super Bowl contenders. Their talent is just way too much. I'm taking the Niners here. Then you have them versus the Colts. Colts coming off a bye. This one, I think Bucks. I think are actually slightly more talented, but players. But Colts do have talent like Jonathan Taylor, Leonard, Quentin Nelson. So this one's gonna be a tight. But Bucks, the Colts are coming off a bye, so I'm taking the Colts here. Then you have them versus the Panthers. Panthers. I think their defense is much improved, especially late in the season, which can shut down the Bucks offense. And Bryce Young, not sure how well they're gonna do against the Bucks, and Bucks do have home field advantage, but I'm still taking the Panthers. Then you have Denver versus the Falcons. I don't see the Bucks sweeping the Falcons. So I'm taking the Falcons here. Then you have a game versus the Packers. This one's going to be in December. It's going to be cold in Green Bay. Not sure how Jordan Love is going to do, but the Packers have a good defense, and the Buccaneers' run game is not their strength. So I'm taking the Packers here. And then you have them versus the Jags and Jaguars. Jaguars are good. Their second year under Doug Peterson should be better than their first. Jaguars defense or offense should get through that Bucks defense, and the Bucks offense, even though they're not great. So I'm taking the Jaguars here. Then you have a game versus the Saints. Buccaneers have home field advantage. It's gonna be a tough, ugly matchup. These Saints versus Bucks is gonna be such an ugly matchup, but I do think the Bucks sweep the Saints. Then you have a game versus the Panthers. This one's going to be a potential game for the division, considering how that division is. But I don't see the Panthers sweeping the Bucks. So I think Bucks play spoiler and the Bucks win this. So in the end, the Buccaneers going 8-9, 4-2 in the division, 5-3 at home and 3-6 away.